Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. I guess I already have the heat map. There you go. Welcome to the live show. How is everybody this evening? What a crazy day it was, I would say. Google popping up. That was a good look. And if you were in the Discord, we were having a good old time with the IWM. We'll go through that. But let's go through and see what's happening in the market, what's going to be happening tomorrow. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And here's the heat map. I had it up when I first came on. But there you go, right there. There's Google popping up. Everything else, Microsoft taking a dip today, and then at the in the after hours, Amazon went a little wild. Look at this thing, up 13%, almost $30 right there. So that was a good pop off its earnings. And then Apple had some earnings too, and it was up a little bit. Nothing real crazy right there, but there you go with them too. And we'll look at everything else, obviously, and see what's going on. Not a whole lot going into a Halloween Friday tomorrow, so it doesn't look like it's going to be too crazy right there. We'll go through it all and see Amazon stock soars on big earnings beat AWS growth. Well, we know that AWS has like everything on it because when it went out, like everything was out. And stock futures rise after upbeat tech earnings. U.S. futures rise on tech results after downbeat day. And Amazon stock soars after big revenue beat, sharp AWS growth, and the tech pain trade Trump Xi readout or whatever. So there you go. iPhone 17 Plus demand is robust. So that's what Luis Rodriguez was saying about Apple right there. And we'll see what that was doing. Real quick over here. This is not Apple. That's Apple right there. You can see it jumping up. But look at Amazon right there. That one was some jumping. So there you go. And then your SPY actually kind of ran up in the after hours a little bit right there. It's at what, 684 it says. So it had closed a little lower, I believe. And yeah, 679, it's at 684. So it was running up in the after hours with that Amazon and making it pop up. So that's what it's looking like. And if you were in the Discord this morning with the in the while we were live trading, if I could definitely type today, we were having a good old time this morning with the IWM making it go down. Laptop Travel was in there. And we timed this thing out, I mean, perfectly. The only thing I messed up with, I sold it too early. That was it. We caught it up here, and then I sold it down here, and then it went down tremendously more throughout the day. So I should have just held on to it. Now I said it was going down. I should have just listened to myself. But anyway, that was that. And yeah, we were catching, and I caught the SPY on the way up on a pop up today. So that was down here. I caught the bottom, and that got ran up, and I sold that too early too. So I think I gotta hold on to them a little longer, knowing that I can tell when they're getting topped out there and gonna pull back. So just been playing around with the minute charts and doing some quick trades. And I know some people in the Discord were having a good time, and we were having a good time. And we won't do it every day like that. We'll obviously look for our setups, but a day like today, it was definitely good. And had some good swing trades right there. Laptop Travel was on now and some, and we were having a good old time, like I said. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was fun. Netflix announced a 10-to-1 stock split effective November 11th. Does that say? I think that says November 11th. That's what it says right there, guys. I think, yeah, November 11th, it looks like. So that's what that says, Luis Rodriguez. And here we go. Let's roll right through and see what's going on. Not a whole lot, like I said. And then you got a football game starting soon. It's the Ravens versus the Dolphins, and that will be happening starting around 8:15. So here we go, Robin. You don't normally get to watch that live and follow the SPY ups and downs. It was fun to watch, and he played a small play in it and did okay. So nice, Robin. That's awesome, and glad you got to watch that and had a good time. So yeah, we were having a blast this morning. I mean, it was just absolutely bonkers. I gotta look at that, watch that show again because it was crazy. We were just picking the SPY and the IWM, the Qs going up and down and just nailing them perfectly on the minute charts. And it was fun. It was crazy. And yeah, I definitely am starting to get the look on the minute charts, and it is a good time. And you said MicroStrategy's also up on earnings right there, huh? Yeah, it's bouncing back after today. I knew it took a dive today, but it is bouncing back right there. As you can see, it's trying to bounce back up. You did have a nice dip down there today. So there you go. It's strategy. And let's see our strategy to get through these. I took that, what was it anyway? Neon. It just pulled back today, and I was like, we're not going to waste our time, but watch it pop tomorrow. But anyway, you can see it right there. It did have a nice little pullback, and I was like, all right, it's not really doing what I thought it was going to do. So, anyway, that's that Neon, Neon, and KVUE right here. The Tylenol makers pulling back, and we're going to have to let that pull back as well. Open Door is down a little bit, LDI as well. And we'll watch these to see if they want to get set up right there. And how about QMCO and the other quantum ones? That was down a little bit. RGTI was up today and not looking bad. Look at that thing trying to crawl up. I did see that today. QUBT right here is the quantum computing, and that was also down. Then you have your QBTS is D Wave, and that was trying to run up, and that's not looking too bad. So we'll keep an eye on QBTS and RGTI right there. Them two are actually looking pretty good today. And let's see what the quantum one is doing. Defiance Quantum ETF, and that is just kind of curling up. It's in a bullish trend. It just, you can't tell if it really wants to get popping. I don't think it wants to get popping just yet. And our IONQ right here was pulling back. And let's see how much that wants to pull back. That's that IONZ. So that's going to be up a little bit. And it is kind of setting up right there, but it could pull back. Again, a lot of these have a weird look. Today was a weird day. Yesterday was a weird day. Excuse me. And yeah, we had all kinds of craziness going on. And I thought the markets might react a little bit better after the Trump Xi meeting, or however you say his name, but apparently they didn't like any of that either. I know Laptop Travel did some newsletters about it, so you can check it out, and he covered all that good stuff in his newsletter. So there you are. And IONZ, like I said, is the opposite of IONQ right there. So we'll keep an eye on them bad boys, but that's your quantum computer hardware ones. And UNH, big dip again today after yesterday. So look at that bad boy hitting the 50. So that might be an opportunity down there, UNH. And it did. It took a nosedive. Look at that. The other day was a nice top, and it did pull back there. So I would say watch for a little more pullback on that one right there, UNH. And what did Oscar do? That was also pulling back a little bit. I did see, no, it didn't turn back around today. And there you are with them healthcare ones. And let's take a look at the Trump family crypto companies. And that just sounds crazy, but that's what they are. ABTC, American Bitcoin Corp, pulling back, has good support. So you can probably play it off these bounces. And Pew down here is another one in the channel, going to have earnings coming up. I can't imagine. Do they even make money? Do they do anything? I have no idea what they do. And it is PEW, and that is grab a gun. And Trump's kids are on that board as well. And then you have NCPL as net capital. And remember, this was looking pretty good, and then it took a nice nosedive. That could be a nice bottom and a nice bounce right here. So we can watch that for tomorrow. NCPL, see how that gets set up if it wants to do something. Let me take a better look at it. And let's see NCPL right here. I mean, it's down there, that's for sure. I mean, I'll look at it in the morning and see what it wants to do. I'm going to jot it down over here just because it has that look, and I'll take a look at it and see what it does and how it sets up there. PSQH pulling back as well. Did notice that coming down to the 50, and a lot of them are right there. So we will be seeing what they want to do tomorrow, but we could be seeing a little bit of the dip action too. And again, we had rate cut, Powell speak, and then Trump and the Xi meeting. And I don't know how well it went or bad. I'm not sure. And then you still have a government shutdown, and you can see right there that things curling right back up November 23rd. And there you are with November 16th plus right there. And here you are with your Fed decision. And remember what I was saying. There's no way, I don't think that these things, remember I just said it was an overreaction. There's your pullback. It'll probably try to come up a little bit, but they're not crossing through. They didn't have that look like they wanted to jump off cliffs. And you're way too far out anyway. So that will be a 0.25 decrease the way it looks as of now for the Fed decision in December. And again, he just kind of left it a little bland. he didn't really say one way or the other that he was concrete on anything, and I just think it just got overreacted, which was perfectly fine. As you can see, the reaction down there, and it's probably going to curl right back up there. So there you go. And France proposed a national Bitcoin reserve and rejects digital euro. So France's new bill proposes building a natural national Bitcoin reserve of up to 420,000 Bitcoin. That's a good number right there to pick. And where the heck did they just get that number? They're like, oh, we're smoking and we're going to pick 420,000 Bitcoin. Let's do it up. I mean, what a bizarre way to like number. I don't mind, but it is kind of funny. It jumps right out at me. Anyway, that's what, France right there. So there you are with France making their national Bitcoin reserve. And there you are. And let's keep on cruising right through so we can see what's going on in this market. And then we can go ahead and watch some football and do whatever else you want to do on this Thursday evening. It is Mischief night. You guys used to go out for Mischief night. I'm not sure if you guys used to do what we used to do, but Mischief night was always a fun time growing up. And we always had some crazy wild stories, but that was back in the day. I don't think kids really do any of that stuff anymore, and it's just a different time. But yeah, we used to like run around like maniacs on Mischief night and be animals, I'll tell you that. And obviously we didn't like destroy anything, but we definitely caused havoc as kids. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, it's kind of fun when you see that stuff happen today. You're just like, yeah, you know what? It's kids being kids, and what are you going to do? As long as they don't destroy my property or anything that crazy, I'll deal with it for a night. And Luis Rodriguez said, same here. So yeah, we used to be pretty wild around here on Mischief Night, and that is October 30th. So I don't know if you guys are all about that too. And we'd go pumpkin smash, and that was always like a big thing around here. You just like go and grab people's pumpkins and smash them right in front of their house or wherever you wanted to. But yeah, you'd just see pumpkins all over the streets, just like smashed up. And yeah, that's what we did. Not great, I don't think. It's not very bright, but looking back at it, but it was fun back then. I'm not gonna lie. As a kid, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we were out in the streets all the time. Luis Rodriguez, it was crazy. We were just animals. We would take shaving cream and have shaving cream fights on like the last day of school and all that stuff, and egg each other and egg houses, and we were just crazy. We did it all back then, but it was fun. And like I said, we didn't like really destroy anything too bad. I don't think. I don't think anyway. Now you look back and you're like, well, maybe them eggs on some houses probably weren't the best, but hey, that's what happened back in the day. And then in the snow, we used to go car hop, and I think I've talked about that, where like cars would just pull up to a stop sign, and you would just hop on the back of it and just like lay down and grab the bumper and just like hold on and just go for. And we used to just like we would take it as like a taxi, like if we wanted to get to our friend's house. Then obviously it didn't snow that much, but when it happened, it was like the greatest. We were like, all right, we'd all just meet up on this one street where it's like a main street, where it's like the only street that cuts through to the main roads, and there's a stop sign like right in the middle of it. So we would just like flag down, like cars had to stop there, and there'd be tons of kids out there. Yeah, and there'd always be like 3 4 kids just jumping on the back of these cars, and then they'd be trying to spin out, and they'd be just like, yeah, it was crazy. And but we had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a blast. I'm saying, Luis Rodriguez, like I said, we had a good old time. You definitely weren't sitting in playing video games. I can tell you that right now. So it was just a totally different way of life back then. And yeah, they don't do that today. I know that, but it's all good. But yeah, that's what we used to do. It sounds like Luis Rodriguez and some other people used to too. Laptop Travel said, yeah, by the time we get to the grocery store and leave, there'd be no toilet paper on the shelf. So yeah, they used to do that at the end of the school year, like the last day of school, like the Rite Aid and stuff like that. They wouldn't sell the kids shaving cream, so you had to get like an adult had to actually buy it. And they'd actually that's like the only time they'd ask you for ID on shaving cream, because literally like at the last day of school, everybody just had shaving cream and just ran around and just shaving creamed everybody. That was fun times too. But whatever, talking about Mischief Night and all the and pumpkin smashing. So yeah, if you were mischievous back in the day when you were younger, you may remember them days. again, I'm just remembering things that I did. I'm like, holy cow, I can't believe we did stuff like that. But what are you gonna do? It wasn't that bad, I guess. But here we go. Let's roll through and see what's the bad market looks like here. BMNR, big old dip down there underneath that trend line, and SBET was pulling back as well, and UPXI because crypto. Let's look at it. That was pulling back way more than I thought. And look, Doge is back to 18 cents. Holy cow! I didn't even notice that. To be honest with you, not that it's down here where it got down to what, like 9 cents or whatever, on that 8 cents it got to on that huge dip, but it is pulling back right there, I must say. Let's take a look at our crypto real quick. Eggs were cheap, yeah, and yeah, we used to buy like huge amounts of eggs, and they were super cheap back then. And yeah, now you're definitely not egging houses, and the eggs are like over $5 a carton or a dozen. I mean, yeah, you're not throwing them at houses. But yeah, back then, what were they? Were like under $1 or something to get a dozen eggs. And then growing up, I'll tell you, we worked at a restaurant near me as busboys, and they obviously had like, the commercial size eggs, the boxes. So right around that time, this time of year, a flat or two would go right out the back door with the trash, and then we would just take them right there, and we'd have a ton of eggs because you would literally have like, I don't even know how many are on them flats. I should. I was a chef, but I have no idea. But it's a good amount of eggs right there, and yeah, we would just grab like two of them and just go to town. So. Yeah, that's what us delinquents used to do when we were growing up. I know it's crazy. But anyway, here we are looking at crypto charts. This is crazy. Look at Bitcoin pulling back right there. Ethereum right here kind of pulling back, and Solana's pulling back a little more than we like because it's hitting the 50, and it better bounce off, as you can see, these other times, or it could be in trouble right there. So Ripple was looking real good, and that's pulling back. So we'll have to see what happens here tomorrow and how these markets look and what's going to be the catalyst to get them bumping, because the Cardano is pulling back too, and Stellar isn't looking exactly stellar at the moment. And optimism just like is about to go back in the basement and lose its optimism. So we're going to be keeping an eye on our crypto right there. And then we were looking at our crypto treasury ones like UPXI and them pulling back. ORBS was pulling back some more. So that is what they look like. And then even this Bath and Body Works pulling back 2 days in a row. And that looks like it's going to come back down to this to the bottom down here. It just surpassed its support line. Didn't even blasted right through that thing and went right down. So yeah, the market's definitely pulling back, guys. EPWK, a little bit of pullback right here. I'm just trying to see, is it trying to curl out right there? EPWK. I was looking at it today. I'll look at the minute and see, but it doesn't look bad right there. Actually, that's what I thought on that chart. It doesn't look too bad. And let's just see, what was it doing? It was running up a little in the after hours. All right, this thing, I'm telling you, we got to keep this one on watch right here. EPWK. That's not looking too bad right there. I know it's kind of beaten down. LBD. This one I think went down today. LBGJ. And yeah, it did pull back. It ran up like 4 cents yesterday and then pulled back that. Oh, and then it ran back up it in the after hours. I didn't even see that. That one's pretty wild right there. LB, what the heck is it? GJ. And there you go. So look at that thing running around like a maniac today. Holy cow. It got up to 96 cents. It's opened at 70. It came down to 53 and it's at 69. So it's right around where it opened up. That's pretty wild right there. You might want to keep an eye on that. I know I had that in the note. And NIXX right here just pulling back some more, and I'm just watching this thing. It's trying to get set up, and I would assume it's going to try to run soon, bounce off this bottom right there. So we'll be keeping an eye on NIXX right there and LITM. Let's see what that Snow Lake resource is doing. It's an industrial metals and mining, and it is getting down here. I think we are about to see a bottom finally. So that's what I was looking for, and I'll keep an eye. You can see it trying to curl up, and I think you're going to get that bottom and start to curl up a little bit for next week. So that's what LITM is looking like. And then the game is on, and it's 0-0 with 12:51 left in the first quarter. So that is happening right now. Nothing too crazy with the Ravens and Dolphins. The Dolphins have the ball, so you can watch that. What's it on, like Amazon? Yeah, Amazon Prime. It's on here. So there you go with that. And remember Bazooka Joe's gum for a penny each. Hell yeah. I was just actually sitting there thinking the other day we used to go because the softball field's right like a block away from my house, and they have the concession stand. And they used to like bag out the Swedish fish, and then you just go up there and buy like 25 of them for a quarter. They were a penny a piece growing up, and that was awesome. And I remember when they started raising the prices, and you still didn't really care because it was still really cheap. But yeah, having a concession stand for a softball field or baseball field like a block away from your house when you're a kid is so great. And so I had that. That was really cool growing up as well. And and that's where I actually I coach over there in the softball when I help out and coach over there. But anyway, yeah, that was good times. So I used to have all the penny candy and stuff you'd go get, and that was always like the best. I mean, that candy back then was so good compared. I'm telling you guys, when I went to Canada, any of the candy that you get in Canada tasted like the candy back in like the 80s and the 90s and stuff when you were growing up. If you're my age or in that, and obviously if you're older than me, you remember it too. You just weren't my age, but you would remember. So yeah, all that stuff. I'm not even kidding. It all tasted so good. Like the candy corn. Holy cow! It like was so good. Like you could taste the difference between the different colors, and now it just tastes like a piece of plastic. It's just insane. Like it doesn't taste like anything around here. And so yeah, they used to actually be like kind of creamy. Each one was like almost a different flavor, and you could taste the difference on candy corn. And that's definitely not the case. But in Canada, that's how it is, and all the other countries seem to be able to get it except for us. So I've been saying that for a little while, and yeah, all the candy like that penny candy and stuff. We went into a candy store and bought a bunch of different stuff, and it was just so good. It was like me and my wife were like, "Holy cow, this candy is so good!" It's like when we grew up and used to go to concession stands and stuff. It was just so. Oh my god, it was. I told you guys about it. It just took you right back to your childhood because we don't get to taste candy like that. Our candy is garbage. Yeah, if you ever, guys, if you ever have a Hershey's bar now, check out a Hershey's bar. They're like pliable. Like you can actually bend them a little bit. Like they actually bend if they're at like room temperature. Obviously, if you keep it in the refrigerator, it'll break because it's hardened up. But if you just have a Hershey's bar and it's room temperature, and it's not real hot, not real cold, it's just a normal room temperature, check it out. It's pliable. Like I said, it'll bend like Hershey bars didn't used to bend like that. I forget what they put in them now, but they do put a different ingredient, and that's what makes it happen. Because my wife and I were looking it up, we were like, why do these things bend? Like anytime we do s'mores and stuff, and you get the Hershey bars, yeah, they're just weird. Like they're just not made the same like they used to be. It's kind of bizarre, but anyway, that's our food talk for there. And our candy's garbage, and so is all of our food because they put corn syrup in like everything and loads of it. And yeah, what are you gonna do? We actually bought the organic ketchup around here, and we still had the ketchup left from Canada, and it's like the exact same ingredients as the organic one, and it tastes the same as the ketchup from back in the day. So I'll have to tell you what brand it is. It's actually really good, and it doesn't have all the corn syrup in it. So yeah, I think that we're definitely going to be using that stuff. And anything else you can get without corn syrup, I'm telling you, the food just tastes way better. And I was talking about it before, but talking about it again, and talking about LITM trying to bottom out right here, and Sinestech is trying, maybe possibly trying to bottom out. And like I said, I kind of think this is going to get set right back up here and get cruising along. So I think Sinestech's going to have some news relatively soon and try to get popping up again. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And I know I'm just going to jump on here, down here, but TONX, I was just thinking about it, and it was jumping around all day today. It actually came way down at the beginning of the day and then started to pop up. And they didn't have a PR. And apparently, Ben was saying like they have a 2-week quiet period. I think they have earnings coming out. So I guess they can't post the PR before the earnings report. I'm guessing maybe they have to kind of do it at the same time. I don't even know. Ben and I were talking about it today. We're not exactly sure, but this thing is looking still pretty good, and they obviously got their Nasdaq delisting taken care of. So we'll be watching that right there and seeing how that looks. And that is that TONX. And I know I just thought of Sinez Tech and that. Home Depot looking a little better today, and I'm telling you, this thing is getting set up. I know it pulled back yesterday, real crazy, but I'm definitely getting that. Might have been a great dip opportunity. Let's just keep an eye on it tomorrow. Obviously, going into Halloween and being a Friday, more importantly, we'll have to see exactly what the market wants to do, and maybe we just kind of wait until next week because you just never know what can happen. So we'll be on in the morning, obviously, and then we'll be on in the Discord having a good old time. But there's Lowe's, and again, they look really good to me. So I would say keep your eye on Lowe's and Home Depot right there. Here is your IVF, and it's still pulling back here. I don't know what is going on with this company besides a disaster, and it is a dumpster fire at that place. So that is what's going on at IVF. They definitely didn't take advantage of the opportunity, and that's what happens with I guess poor management. I don't know what's going on, but it's 3-0 Dolphins, and the Ravens had the ball 11:19 left in the first quarter, and that is your NFL update right there. And here we go at Uber, because Uber wasn't looking bad today. I know that. And UBER was up a little bit in this market, curling up, looking pretty nice. They have earnings coming up as of next week, yeah, November 4th. So keep an eye on Uber. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of great opportunities. Not gonna lie, but Uber looks like it could be one. Lyft was pulling back some. I thought that was trying to get set up, but I would say a lot of these that are not curled through the MACD right now are not curling through the MACD right now. So you got to kind of look at the ones that are on the opposite side of the MACD to roll off, and that's what we have to look for. They were crawling through and looking good, but obviously that just took like a little pause, but that's perfectly fine. So you just have to identify the patterns and see what's going on. Then you can pick it out and know exactly. And I could tell today, I said, oh, I guess we are seeing some pullback here because I don't think these are getting through and it's like across the board. So I think we have to go with the ones that are already over the MACD trying to roll off. And UPS right here will be a prime example how it ran up, let it pull back, and then it'll set up and run more. But there you go at UPS. It was cruising around. And we were talking about it the other day when it had run up really big, talking about it before that. But anyway, UPS was up there, and we'll see what it wants to do. And FedEx right here was pulling back a little bit, kind of like UPS, I guess. Yeah, I would say about the same almost. A little more pullback with UPS than FedEx, but it does look like it might be pulling back some with FDX right there. So another one we'll have to look at. And here's some China small caps right here. WTO. Look at this bad boy getting set up, so we can keep an eye on that because that looks like it's getting timed out right there pretty soon. And then this U car, I think, did jump around today and maybe a little bit in the after hours right there. But this thing isn't looking bad either. So UCAR, you can see that trend line 2050 trying to crawl up there. So they might be good ones in the morning. Not sure why. They're both China ones. So we'll have to see if China ones want to start popping. But them two don't look too bad. And again, we were just talking about TONX. So I can't type it in, but there's TONX. And we were just talking about it. And VCIG ran, and Janica had mentioned this one yesterday. It did pop up early over here. I know that. It was up real early in the morning, as you can see. And then it came back down, and now it's back down a little bit, but it doesn't look bad for tomorrow, guys. So maybe it's another opportunity right here. You can see in the basement, it had that big old red spike up, and maybe you have a little bounce around tomorrow. So just keep an eye on VCIG. Like I said, it could be bouncing around. We'll see what it wants to do right there. And then Capper right here, I thought was going to be kind of bouncing up, and it did take a bounce down. Look at it. It looked like it was set up there. Maybe it's coming back down to your $6 area, and then it wants to run. So definitely a strange market today. I'm not going to lie. Many things that were setting up like this, and again, look at it, couldn't get through that MACD. So we know to just keep an eye on that look and know that they might not cross through as they were, and we'll see how long that plays out. So just kind of identifying the situations in the market is perfectly fine. Again, guys, if the market wants to go down, we'll do puts, and we are doing it today in the live trading. I'm just kind of getting used to it and better at it, just in case that's what we need to do. If the market starts to turn around and things don't look as well, we'll just play the indices and run them up and run them back down, and you can make two quick trades and then be pretty much done for the day and have a pretty damn good day there. So a lot of opportunities all the time. We'll just pick them out and find exactly what the opportunities are, and yeah, we just gotta just listen to what I say, and I guess I gotta listen and do what I say. I've been getting way better at it. Ben today definitely didn't listen to it. He called out the market perfectly. I tried to listen to what he said, and I'm telling you what we do. We sit here and tell you exactly what to do, and it's like. And then we get into the moment, and it's like our brains can't function because it's like information overload. You just start making all the wrong decisions. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's experienced that, because it seems like Ben definitely experiences it too. And yeah, it's just bizarre. But we can sit there and tell you exactly what to do, but then we go do the exact opposite. And he did it today. I'm telling you, I was trying to tell him, like, yeah, don't just play this one and this one at this spot. And again, I can kind of see these minute charts pretty well. Going into the day, and we were doing it today. Like I said, we caught it all the way up here for yeah, we caught it all the way up here to come down, and then the SPY caught the opposite way. I caught that and on the way up. So there you go with that bad boy, and it was a good time with the IWM and all that. So anyway, we will be looking into any opportunities that we have, that's for sure. And then, of course, there's BTGD. We don't really have to even go through these because you know that they're all down right now with crypto all down. So we'll just let these dip down and we won't even bother. But JNUG and these guys were trying to bounce back up. They don't look too bad for tomorrow. So I guess we're going to have to keep an eye on these JNUG, NUG, and and the gold sector right here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. You can see them trying to curl up right here. They do look pretty good. Not saying they're going to get through that MACD or 20 either, but they are getting that curl up look, especially NUG. Look at it. It's trying to curl up right there. And it might run up in this channel right here, not get through. But that will be a nice little run up right there. So definitely keep an eye on them. And this NGD is another one that's new gold. And so you can keep an eye. Look at that thing was crawling up. We were talking about it last night, and it was up today. And SIL is the silver one, and that kind of has a very similar look. So again, they might just run up a little bit, and that DZZ came out of the top, and we were watching that, and that's why I'm saying it could definitely get moving for gold. And it's 6-3 now. Luis Rodriguez just said so. There you go with the score, and it's Ravens have 6 and the Dolphins have 3. So thank you very much, Luis Rodriguez. I wasn't even paying attention. And it's actually 7-3 now, huh? With the they scored a touchdown, got the extra point. So yeah, 7-3 Ravens over the Dolphins right now. So there you go. And DZZ again pulling out the top. So we'll be watching that, and let's see what our Jolie's Jams want to do, and then we'll keep on cruising right through the market. See what you guys want to look at after our Spy Mag 7 Big Cat. Maybe we'll just end it on an early night tonight on Mischief night. You can go make sure that your house doesn't get egged or anything like that. And which I highly doubt anymore. I don't think that kids even go out and do that stuff. But I might be completely wrong. You guys can tell me if you ever see kids go out on Mischief night anymore. I generally don't see anybody anywhere out, especially the kids. I mean, they just, I mean, sometimes they're out riding their bikes here and there, but definitely not out like we used to be. And so, anyway, that's that. And let's keep on cruising because Rhythm right here did pull back just a little bit. It does look like it's trying to get set up, but again, under that MACD, so you have to be a little cautious right there. And your blink, if I could get there, we'll take a look at it. And that was just pulling back to that 50 right there. So we'll see if it wants to bounce or if it's going to continue to go down. We've seen a few of them going straight through, so we'll have to watch BLNK. And Sezzle right here was dipping down some more, so we'll be watching that one. And there's that Sterling with that big dip, guys. Why don't we watch this one tomorrow? STRL. That's what we want to watch tomorrow to see if it wants. I mean, that thing is like known to just bounce up and down. It's kind of bizarre. Look at this thing, 6%. It already was bouncing in the after hours. This thing just bounces like crazy. I don't know why we're not constantly taking advantage of this thing. Look at it. It goes down, it goes right back up. It comes down, it goes back up, and it does it all the time, guys. And as long as we've been watching it, I don't know what was going on down here, but anyway, that was back in September. But yeah, I mean, this thing is a beauty to be bouncing back and forth. And again, it moves like 6% swing, so it's pretty big right there. So let's keep an eye on Sterling and see what that's up to tomorrow. And how about Rivian right here did pull back. It was looking good and still over to. And again, this is what I'm looking for. It can roll right off that MACD, so that might be some healthy pullback right there for good old Rivian, and maybe a good opportunity. We'll look at it tomorrow right there to make sure. And again, in the going into a Friday, into the weekend, I don't know if you're going to really want to be jumping into anything, but we got to know exactly what we want to look at and what's getting set up. And Symbiotics running up a little bit right there and not looking too bad. So we can keep an eye on SYM as well. And let's go through our laptop travel list and see what's going on there. And yeah, it's 7-3, and the Dolphins are cruising down the field right there. So that is what's going on in your game. It's 7-3 in the first quarter with about 8 minutes and 25 seconds or so left in the first. And here we go with our laptop travel. It says BZUN, I believe, and that is Bayozon. That's a China one right there. And that looked like it had a little bit of pullback. Let me see in the after hours. BZUN right there. Yeah, a little bit of pullback there. So we'll have to take a look at it. And COYA, I didn't check any of these out. That one was pulling back a little too. And this market today was a little bit crazy. So I know my scanner was picking up all kinds of stuff. And I was looking at it like, well, that doesn't look that great. So I'll have to pass on. That's why I didn't add anything, as you can tell. In the last 2 days, actually, we're probably not that set up, and probably we're just kind of forcing ideas where we should have known not to do that. But I would say let's not force anything going into a Friday. We'll see how it looks. And again, in the Discord, we'll definitely be trading something. You guys know that. And probably pretty accurately, even if we just swing in the IWM or even the spies or the Qs or whatever it may be. So we'll figure out an opportunity in the morning. And EGHT right here, like I said, kind of pulling back a little as well. And let's keep on cruising. GANX, I couldn't tell what that was. And that's definitely not gaining right there. Gain Therapeutics. What is that? GANX. Hold on. There it is. Yeah, it's going to pull back to that. I just want to see where the trend lines were on it, because it definitely looked like it was pulling back a little bit more. So yeah, I definitely saw my scanners showing me some weird ones as well. HLX, I guess it's a W, and maybe it was this one. It was probably that one. HLX Helix Energy. That one actually looks good. I don't know where I put a Y at. I just decided to add a Y to it possibly, but HLX not looking bad right there, if any of them, and that's an energy one right there. So we'll take a look at that. And INMB right now, what's that up to? Pulling back. I mean, it's over the MACD, so we might get a roll off on that one. And again, the market just doesn't look like amazing. Let's put it that way. MXCT right there, kind of pulling back, and we'll have to watch that. PMVP is that could get bouncing back up. So maybe look at PMV Pharmaceuticals. And QuantumScape right here. That's not QuantumScape. This is QuantumScape. Has that weird look. I actually saw this today, as a matter of fact. And this one, maybe it could get set up, laptop travel. It doesn't look bad, I can tell you that. So keep an eye. I'll look at QuantumScape and put it on the list over there to look at it in the morning, because that one could be a good one for tomorrow. And that QSI was just kind of pulling back a little bit right there. And Sky E or whatever, Sky Biosciences. And that one is just kind of pulling back a little bit today. It did run up and then pull up, SKYE right there. And there you go. It did run up and then pull back a little bit. ZNT, what the heck did I write? L, well, that was the only one there. I should have just looked up at my options. ZNTL right there, pulling back a little bit. And then we have ZVAI. And that one that one could roll off, and maybe not tomorrow, but next week. So yeah. I would say the market doesn't look amazing going into tomorrow. Let's put it that way. And let's see what these Mag 7 and these guys are doing in our SPY. Like I said, that one was down. It did run up, and it was more or less Amazon right here at the end of the day. And Amazon went flying up there. You can see it's like almost off the charts right there. And we were already looking at it, but there you go at Amazon. And then we'll go through Amazon right now and then Apple, because Amazon did have their earnings and it did run up pretty big right there. So that's what you're looking at with Amazon, and we'll look at Apple. They also had earnings. I'm not sure if they beat their earnings or what the heck they did. This is what it says. EPS reported 1.85 and they beat the estimated 1.777. So they did beat that by like 4.10%. And revenue is estimated at 102.227 and they have 102.466 billion. So they beat that by like $238 million. And so there you go with that. And there you are with Apple. And oh, it beats Q4. I should have just read this with 102.5 billion revenue and whatever 1.85 EPS, declares 26 dividend, but misses iPhone and China sales forecast due to supply chain issues. So there you are. And Tim Cook guides for double-digit iPhone and 10 to 12% overall revenue growth in the holiday quarter, and warns of higher tariff expenses next quarter, sending shares higher. So there you go. That's what happened with Apple. So Apple did jump up a little bit right there, and there you go. On the earnings for them too, Google was up a little bit more today. It is in the top. I would be a little bit careful with Google right there, and it could be pulling back tomorrow. And Meta took a beating, guys. We should have been shorting Meta right here. What is that Meta one? METD, is it? Yeah, that is the ME. That's the bear. Look at that thing, jumped up like 11% today. So that is the short for Meta. And holy cow, Meta got beaten down. So look at that, down $85. And so we'll look for that to see if it actually wants to bounce back up for a good old META. And let's see what Microsoft, that took a beating too today after its earnings. And we played that one perfectly, and we'll watch for that one to get set back up so we can play it again there, Doge Mama 9. You get a night off from the World Series, and obviously World Series back on tomorrow night, and the Ravens-Dolphins game's on tonight at 7-3. Ravens are up on the Dolphins. Dolphins have the ball with about 3:40 left in the first quarter, and Zuck has a sore butt, sore knees, and brown lips, all for nothing. Yeah, he was kissing up to Trump big time, and then look at this thing. That thing dipped down majorly right there. So look at that big dip way down there. And so we will be watching Meta to see what it wants to do. That's Microsoft's like, where's the dip at on that? That's why I can't see it. There it is. That's where Meta is, way down there. So yeah, it took a nice night. Look at them crazy looks, right? You know something's about to happen now, whether it was going up or not. It was in a bullish look, but you just can't tell. And that's why I just don't understand earnings a lot of times. You guys know that. I couldn't really tell, but it took a beating right there. So definitely be keeping an eye on Meta for when it does want to try to jump back up. And again, Microsoft down. NVIDIA had a good day yesterday, and that pulled back today. So nothing too crazy except for the Amazon earnings at the end of the day. And Tesla took a nice little dip there. So that is what your Mag 7 looks like. AMC right here pulling back some more. GameStop pulling back a little bit more. And Chewy right here is up a little bit. That could be bottomed out, guys. So let's keep an eye on Chewy right there. Unity had been looking good, and that also pulled back. So, but it is over the MACD, so you still could get that roll off right there. Just be some setting up and pulling back with the market, and that is Unity Software. And what about Netflix pulling back some more right there, down a little bit, and it was up in the after hours. I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you. Let me see. Netflix right here was jumping up. It sure did. And they're doing a split soon. Did they announce that today or something? I'm not even sure. Netflix approves 10-for-1 stock split at 640. Is that the one you were talking about was splitting, or which one? Oh yeah, you did say Netflix. I'm sorry, Luis Rodriguez. I knew you said one of them was split, and I totally forgot what you even said earlier. And it was Netflix, so you already told us that. So there we are with Netflix splitting. And let's see AVGO pulling back a little bit in the semiconductors, and let's see what the rest of them want to do, like MU pulling back as well. They were trying to look pretty good, and it's not like we've never seen them not pull back like this and then jump up the next day, but they just don't look like they want to. Let's put it that way. TSM right there looks like it could pull back more. SMCI, that could pull back some more, and you can see they're not over the MACD and they're pulling back. So it is what it looks like. And AMD right there was pulling back pretty big today. We'll see if it can get caught up on that trend line right there. QCOM also another one pulling back after it had that huge run up. And good old Snow is still running up there pretty strong. I saw that and I was like, wow, that thing is still looking pretty good and might still bounce up tomorrow. So if you want to look at one that could still bounce, check it out. PayPal coming down right there. And let's see what Intel was doing, INTC here. And that one's pulling back. So Intel pulling back right now. And let me see, I lost my spot. Dell is the next one, and that one took a big dip. Not huge, but it was pulling back right there, 1.5%. And that's what Dell looked like. And another one, it could roll off that MACD. I'd be watching Dell to see if it wants to bounce back up, to be honest with you. IBM, another one. I mean, look at it. It's way up at the top, but then they come back down and try to roll back up. That's the look you got to look at right now to see if they're going to go back up and or find the ones that will go back up. The ones that are through under the MACD, they're just not crossing through at this moment. And they will, but they're just not doing it now. So there you go at IBM. And let's see what Palantir is doing. That was running up a little bit of pullback right now. And Sophie right now that wasn't pulling back as well today. And that did a 187. It was down $1.87 right there and kind of did die. So and there you go. It's Sophie and Mara was pulling back. Riot was pulling back some. And it was Clean Spark, I'm assuming, was pulling back. And that did pull back. And it ran up yesterday. So your crypto ones are running back. MicroStrategy had earnings. And it did bounce back up in the after hours. But I don't know how much that's going to help with the market and crypto pulling back as much as it is right now. It still might come down. And Robinhood right here. That was pulling back. When's their earnings? They have them coming up, don't they? No, next week. So let's see what Robinhood's doing right here. Yeah, it's just pulling back. Coinbase right there was pulling back a little bit today. And let's see how it ended. Oh, yeah. Look. Oh, it tried to pop back up a little bit. When did they have? They had their earnings, right? Yep. October 30th, and that ran up. And it looks like Coinbase beat their earnings, obviously. Reported that, and they had the estimate, so they definitely beat that by like 32%. And then they beat their revenue by 67 million. So there you go at Coinbase right now, and I think you did mention that one. Luis Rodriguez or somebody over there. And yeah, Coinbase ran up in the after hours. And again, I can't pick the earnings. Bull was down a little bit more, nothing crazy right there, 1.5%. But again, getting into that 10 range where it's a really good opportunity. So you can keep an eye on Bull, BULL. And Space right here is pulling back some. We'll have to wait for that one to get set back up. And Boeing was pulling back. Look at that big dip. Remember, we were just saying that it was setting up to be in a bullish channel yesterday, and all of a sudden now it looks kind of bearish. Damn, I should pull that clip, but holy cow, look at that, down 6% right there today. And I said something along them lines last night. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I can just tell by the look of it. And I remember saying something like that. And your DJT right there, Michael Anthony, took a little dip right now and back to that trend line. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. Your Nike right here was dipping down, and Lulu right here taking a nice little dip as well. So you are seeing some dippage. And McDonald's trying to bottom out. And another one, look at it, guys. I would keep an eye on McDonald's to possibly try to roll off the MACD. And they're the ones that you're going to get to go up right now, to be completely honest with you. And that is MCD. So, yeah, it could pull itself up and try to roll up there tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on that one. And Disney, Luis Rodriguez, look at this thing. That one's getting a little crazy now. I must say, it was looking like it wanted to dip down. Now it looks like it wants to pop back up. And another one, look what I'm talking about, curling up through that, curling off that MACD and running. I mean, and it does have that setup look. So just be careful with that Disney right there, I must say. Any or the put and Oxy right here trying to get moving again. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. It did try to curl through the other day, so you assume it's going to try to run through relatively soon on that look. And ExxonMobil is pulling back some. And then we have our Destiny Tech 100, which is DXYZ. And I think this one could be trying to bottom out and looking good. So maybe we got to keep an eye on that DXYZ right there. So there we go at our list. Let me take a look and see what you guys want to see, and I'll get you updated on the game because it's at a commercial or doing something right now. And it does look like 7-3. The Ravens are over the Dolphins with going into the second quarter, and the Ravens had the ball, is what it looks like. So I guess they're commercial break for the end of the first quarter. So that's your football game, your NFL game right there. And let's go through and see what you guys want to see. And again, this market is just not looking beautiful. And but we'll be on early. Spy was up today in the after hours because of Amazon right there. And your Qs were jumping back up in the after hours as well because of Amazon. So you did get that dip down at 4 o'clock, and then they ran like crazy. And then your IWM right here, that one had been up. It was down. We ran it up and then came all the way down, and it started to just run up at the top. But I do think this one's going to be coming down tomorrow. I mean, look at that. Look, it's I mean, it looks like it wants to come down is what it looks like. So we'll see tomorrow morning. It was up. It closed up 35 cents. Nothing crazy right there. So we'll be watching that in the morning as well. And let's go ahead and see what you guys want to see right here. And let me take a look. iPhone 17, we were talking about that. Netflix, you did say that was a 10-for-1 split, effective November 11th. So, and Robin was saying he doesn't normally get to watch in the Discord live, but he was following the spy up and down and was having fun with it. Even played a small amount, did okay. So that's what we were doing today in the Discord, having a good old time in there. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow. We'll see what the market looks like, and then the indices, obviously. And MicroStrategy was up on its earnings. Coinbase, Reddit right here. We were looking at this. They did have their earnings, and it did go up in the after hours. It was way down today, and then it popped up there in the after hours. So they beat their earnings. I know Ben was talking about this one. And let's see. Surprise, like 52% on the EPS. That's pretty big. And then revenue by 6.53%. So there you go with your Reddit. And they did have their earnings. Net NET. You were just talking about this. What is it? Whoa, that is up pretty big. Cloudflare. You were just talking about NET, and wow, that thing did run 229 to 245. It's at 243 right there. That's a good one right there. Luis Rodriguez, nice call on that. And let's see, to put that in perspective, MicroStrategy. With France proposed their national Bitcoin reserve. We were talking about that, and they're going to have up to 420,000 Bitcoin. And Strategy has 620,000 of Bitcoin. So yeah, Strategy is going to have more than the France Reserve, National Bitcoin Reserve, it'll be called. So that is pretty funny. And Laptop Travel said it was funny with our IWM options today. It certainly was. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty wild this morning. So if you didn't see that, or you're not and you're in the Discord, you can go back and probably look at that. That this morning's show, it was definitely crazy. We were having a wild time. Literally, we called these things perfectly. I mean, all the way at the top right here, shorten it down, and then I caught the spy going up. And the only thing I did was sell a little bit too early on both of them because they both went flying. I was like, holy cow. But yeah, we could definitely see where the tops are. That's for sure. Or the bottoms, I mean, and which way and what direction it wants to go. So yeah, we were having a good time. Laptop Travel was in there as well. And him and I were on the same page. And it was pretty wild. It sounded like we were yelling at horses because we were yelling at the computer monitor for IWM to keep going down and this and that. It was funny. But anyway, just a little different show this morning, that's for sure, in the Discord. And there you go. And we were talking about Mischief Night and all that good stuff. And let's see, Disney refuses to go down without a fight. You're not kidding, Luis Rodriguez. That thing is definitely trying to struggle on your dips or your on your puts. I was trying to think. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, that thing's struggling there and seems to want to go up. Samuel Adams, wow, what did they do? But that one's came way down there. That did take a dip. And Lightbridge right here. Let's see. That one's actually up a little bit. Look at LTBR running up here. What did they do today? Let's see. I don't even see anything, so I'm not sure what they did, but there you go. Cracker Barrel has the Mary Janes, and there you go. And you guys we were talking about penny candy, and Laptop Travel said he remembers the penny candy in the drugstore. Doge Mama 9 was saying there was a crunchy peanut butter one. Don't remember the name. Is that um Payday, and that could be one. I don't even know, possibly. And they were individually wrapped. That's Mary Jane's. There you go. Luis Rodriguez knew that one. And watch for resurgence of the the mineral miners. Maybe I could say that correctly. And energy fuels right here. Wow, that does look really good, Luis Rodriguez, I must say. And let's see what else you have over here. That UAMY. I know that did dip down there the other day. And that is down there pretty nice. That could be a great opportunity. And that CRML, remember those critical metals? Let's see. They could be curling up. Let's get these on the list for tomorrow anyway, just so that we know exactly what they want to do. And let's see what else is going on. Utah Uties, how are you this evening? And DLXY, Delixie Holdings or something. That's way down there and could be curling up, looking pretty good. It's been running up shortly, or slowly, I mean, and getting into that channel, DLXY. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that one. And we'll look at that one in the morning. Let me jot that down over here. And DLXY looks pretty good in the morning to look at. And what else do you have over there? I see a couple of them. LZ. Oh, let me see if I can type it in. LZMH. There we go. LZ Technology. And that was cruising up today. That looks pretty good right there, I must say. So let's see what it looks like right there, coming down a little bit. And let me take a better look at this thing. LZMH. LZMH. Yeah, I'll look at that tomorrow. It has that like spike up look. It does look pretty solid, though. I must say, it does look like it wants to run up a little bit more there. So we'll definitely look at that one. NUWE right here. Let me jot that down too. LZMH. Want to look at that. NUWE, another one. You're getting all these guys that have a little run up right there in that channel, looking pretty good. And we've looked at this one recently. I guess we just have to be a little more patient sometimes and stay with them. But yeah, this one, well, it did run up. I do remember, pull back, and then it has another nice run up. So that one could continue in the morning. And is that SRXH? I think it says SRX Health. And that could be getting set up. You can see it trying to curl up right there. SRXH. Yeah, that does look pretty good for tomorrow to try to run up a little bit. And TNMG doesn't look bad. And again, you just got to be careful with these MACDs here. So that's the one thing with some of these that aren't crossed through. You just got to worry that they're not getting through at the moment right now. So that is what you're looking at. And that one, I mean, it's not bad. It's still got a lot of crawling up to do right there, but it could run. And WOK, we've looked at this one, that China one recently split. And that little one, it was a penny stock. It's still only 370 something after the split. And it's not looking too bad right there for WOK. I'll jot that one down over here. And there was two other ones that looked pretty good. I forget what they were. Yeah, WTO right here. Look at that curling up, in UCAR right there, Utah Ute. So keep an eye on them two little small cap China ones as well. So there you go, Utah Utes. Thank you very much for them ones. They look pretty good. I'll keep an eye on it. And Laptop Travel saying it's like a soybean plastic and chocolate to prevent it from melting in warmer climates. I agree. And we were talking about the candy corn and also the Hershey's chocolate bars. Now they're like flexible. They're plexi, like almost. They're pretty bizarre. You can bend it a little bit if they're at room temperature. It's really weird that you never could do that before. and I was saying how great the candy was in Canada. So they don't put any of that crap in Canada candy. They don't let them, so it tastes all good. Like we used to have candy, and now it tastes like garbage. And like I was saying, you used to be able to tell like the different flavors of the candy corn and the cream on it. And now it just tastes like a piece of plastic. It's bizarre. But anyway, I would say Lowe's is looking pretty good right there, and Home Depot too. Both of them, like I said, they were trying to set up. Lowe's does look a little bit better. I agree with that. Lily Ellie, didn't that run up big? Yeah, I thought so. It was running up. Wasn't it running up yesterday or something? No, it was running up today. Maybe we saw that this morning and they had earnings or something. I forget, but I did see that one. And REGN, we've had that one. It was trying to bounce up a little bit. Oh, it did pull back right there to come out at the top. Let's see. It doesn't look that bad right there. 662. Yeah, I was gonna say where this says it pulled back. This one says it went up, and it looks like it would go up right there. So I'm not sure. That's pretty bizarre. I never see that really, but anyway, it doesn't look bad. We'll have to look at it in the morning. I'm assuming it did go up there, and now it's 14-3 second quarter, and the Dolphins had the ball. Ravens are up 14-3 with 11:35 left in the second. So see if the Dolphins can come down and at least get a touchdown, make it 14-10, but it is 14-3 right now. And Luis Rodriguez had a couple other ones right here. MNOV, Metasinova, something like that. I don't even know what the heck that says, but I can tell it's bounced up. I can't even find the purple number right there, so it's off the charts. MNOV. And yeah, that thing ran completely up. They must have had some news or something happened today. Demonstrate novel therapeutic approach to something. Holy cow, what is that word? I have no idea what that even says. Atherosclerosis, maybe? I don't even know. In peer reviewed publication, something like that, some kind of something. I don't even know what I was reading, but that word was pretty crazy. BENF, this ran up the other day. I remember it ran up back again in the after hours. It looks like right there. There you go. It was jumping back up. I would say keep an eye on this one tomorrow. BENF not looking bad right there. So we'll keep an eye on that, Luis Rodriguez. And WAI, I forget what that's called. I know we've looked at it before. And it is Top King. That's what it is. It's a China one right here. And that one's flying up. So some of these China ones are looking pretty good for whatever reason. We do see this rotation happen. And so, yeah, that one could be a momentum play right there. Good old WAI, Top King. So there you go with that. And let's see what else is going on. J Nug, we went through. Boyle, what's that look like? I know what was Gush doing right here? We were looking at it, I think, just kind of hanging out right there. And Boyle right here was up a little bit. And wow, that looks pretty good for natural gas, huh? BOIL. Well, we're about to get into the cold season, so definitely keep an eye on your BIOL right there. That's setting up looking pretty good. And IXHL, Doge Mama 9, that was starting to run up today. I did see that one. And there you go. And that is like some drug manufacturer. And yeah, that's actually looking pretty good right there, IXHL. So definitely keep an eye on this one tomorrow. Let's jot that down right there. Should keep some momentum in the morning, especially with a whole like when a whole lot of other ones aren't really doing much. This one might be a good one to keep an eye on. And NNDM right here. Well, let me get to that one. Nano Dimension. And that's running up just a little bit today. Let me see what it's doing here. NNDM. And yeah, it's curling up. It looks like it has some good momentum. I'd say let's keep an eye on that NMDM right there. And that could keep some momentum. Doge Mama 9, I'd say they look pretty good for sure. IXHL, I did see that one earlier, so that was a good one. And that one looks pretty good as well. So I would say two decent ones there. And SGML, Sigma Lithium. Oh, that one looks good too, running up there today. And with that curl, and again, it might not curl through the MACD, but you'll probably get a little bit of running on it. So SGML, a little momentum there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on them tomorrow. Thank you very much. And Laptop Travel saying him and I were catching the IWM calls right at the open dip and then sold those and reversed the trend by buying the puts at the top for the ride down. It was pretty crazy. And then he says, I think we were trying Ben's patience with our giddiness on our gains. I think so too, there, because they were running up like 30%. And Ben wasn't exactly doing so well. And Laptop Travel and I were just having a great time over there because I've never really traded like that. Again, I look for these setups, not necessarily trading indices on expiration dates expiring that day. So again, I was talking about that yesterday, but holy cow, them things run up pretty fast. They don't have to move much, and yeah, I would say we were just having crazy time in there. So yeah, we did pretty well, and Laptop Travel made a killing on them mRNA calls right there. And what was that doing? Was that Moderna? That's not. Yeah, it is Moderna. What was that? Whoa, look at that bad boy jumping up there. There you go. Laptop Travel. So there you are with mRNA. And there you go with that. And let's see if I missed anything over here. And it is 14-3 still. The Ravens are still up on the Dolphins. And let me see if anything else is happening. I think we covered everything over there. Let me see if anything's trending. And again, we'll wrap it up early. You guys can enjoy the NFL game and enjoy your evening going into Halloween tomorrow. So obviously we'll be out trick or treating and handing out candy and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys are excited about that. Let's see what's going on over here. If anything's popping or grabbing my attention, obviously Amazon and Solana's down, MicroStrategy kind of down, Apple up a little bit, Reddit jumped up. Oh, that Viking was running up, and that Yosef, oh my goodness, that guy is, I'm telling you, he's just an incredible trader. And yeah, he had this one going up today, and then he was now in the indices when we were talking about it. And there's your Moderna right there looking real good. Laptop Travel and SLDP, whatever that is, Solid Power Auto Parts, and that looks like it was jumping up over there. SLDP. That looks pretty solid right there. So you might want to keep an eye on SLDP. That could keep a little bit of momentum. And Warner Brothers right here. I'm not sure what they're up to, but that looks pretty good too. So Warner Brothers might be a good one tomorrow, guys. We'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure. Yeah, WBD right there. So definitely be keeping an eye on that. Let's see what else it looks like over here. WBD. Yeah, that looks pretty good to try to run up on that trend line. So I would say we got to keep an eye on that one. There's a few of them that look pretty decent. Nothing real crazy. IXHL looking pretty good right there. Doge Mama 9. And what's that? ORIS. That was running up a little bit today. Remember this penny one? And that's another China one. And look at that thing getting to be in a good spot. We might want to keep an eye on ORIS right there, guys, on the penny scene, because that looks really good right there, I must say. So, yeah, we're definitely going to keep an eye on that in the morning. That might be a good one to look at, too. So, there you go, everybody. I would say that's a pretty fun market review, I would say, on Mischief Night. Crypto is dipping, that's for sure, right there. I mean, 109 right now. It was at 108, so maybe that bottomed out. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll get a good Halloween trick or treat surprise from Trump in the market. I'm not exactly sure what he could throw us at this point. They just had the meeting with Xi, and I don't know if it went exactly great because the market didn't react perfect to it. That's for sure. And an oil glut could sink prices to $35 a barrel next year, and why the U.S. China trade truce won't change that. So I know we already looked at most of these, and Nasdaq dragged lower by Meta and Microsoft earnings, but then Amazon came along today in the after hours and just rocked it out of the park right here. So we'll see how it opens up again tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. We'll be on at 7 a.m. You guys know that. And then obviously hopping on in the Discords for all that good stuff. And there you go, everybody. I'm telling you, it's a weird market going into a Halloween on a Friday, but we'll definitely see what opportunities are there for us and try to rock and roll through them. That's for sure, and take advantage of them. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And Laptop Travel, Doge Mama 9, and Luis Rodriguez, Utah Uties there. And, of course, Robin, and I'm sure Zach was on, and everybody else that hangs out, Asian Joe Lee, and everyone else that's hanging out there. I greatly appreciate it. And just be sure to follow along on X, YouTube, Instagram, and like the show on your way out. I appreciate that too. And yeah, there you go. I would say we covered the market pretty well. There wasn't a whole lot to cover. And over here, there wasn't even a whole lot going on. I already looked at it. That INTS had already been running up in HBIO. And for the most part, it's a lot that we've already looked at right here that was already kind of running up and nothing really looking great. I must say, we were looking at YDKG, and there's that ONDS right there. Maybe that's going to bounce back up tomorrow. We'll take a look at it and see. But there you go, guys. We'll see. And that Chipotle just took a big dipping too. And we'll have to see how that one looks tomorrow. So yeah, I'd say a lot of them have taken some dips, and we'll see when they want to get ripping back up here. But there are some good opportunities, that's for sure, Robin. So you enjoy your evening. Again, enjoy the football game. It's 14-3. The Ravens are up on the Dolphins. It looks like the Dolphins are going to come in to try to kick a field goal to make it 14-6. And obviously, our World Series game is on tomorrow, Game 6, so that'll be a fun one right there. I know Doge Mama 9 will be watching it, and I think it starts right around 8 o'clock tomorrow, so right after trick-or-treating time for us on the East Coast, and that will be a fun one. So enjoy that. Enjoy your Friday. We'll be on in the morning, so be sure to tune in at 7 a.m. so we can see exactly what the market wants to do, because we'll cover everything and see what it wants to do, and we'll pick out the opportunities, which way the market wants to rock and roll. If we can really tell at 7, might have to wait until about 9. And again, I'll be on in the Discord to tell you guys. So we do keep you updated, that's for sure. And that's what we're looking at, guys. So thanks again for tuning in. Until tomorrow morning, enjoy the football game. Enjoy your Thursday night, mischief night. Make sure no one eggs your house or does anything crazy. And that's what I have for you guys. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you at 7 a.m.